over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
I'm Jordan Klinger, an attorney at McIntyre Law. The decision to hire an attorney after you've been injured is important. The decision on who to hire is even more important. At McIntyre Law, we will settle a case if the offer to our client is fair. Partial justice is no justice at all. At McIntyre Law, we are committed to obtaining full justice for our clients. Contact McIntyre Law at 405-917-5200 or visit us at McIntyrelaw.com.
At this pivotal moment in the presidential campaign, here it is.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@KLRNradio.com.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
Yeah. An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow.
It's been an actual nightmare.
To oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez. Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis. Now streaming on Freevee.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I take a breath, I'm not gonna lose. This is what I came here to do.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
And it is Sunday night in America. I'm your closing act here on KLRNRadio, America's Podcast Network. I am Rick Robinson. You are listening to one of my shows, the America Off the Rails Show. This is actually the show that launched it all. Went back and looked, and I think we may have changed Spreaker accounts during the rebranding because I thought it had been around a little bit longer. But this is my 11th year doing the show, even counting that number, which is astounding to me. We've also well surpassed 100,000 downloads. So thank you guys for that. It's been a slow build, but traffic is getting better, especially now that we are pushing out video feeds to places like X, YouTube, Rumble, all those places, which, as you can see from my not so great face, there's a reason I have avoided doing that all of these years, but it's just gotten to the point where you kind of have to do that thing. So anyway, so we're here, we're live, it's Sunday night, and we're going to do something we haven't done here before, really this in depth anyway, because we do have this whole video feed format capability now. We are going to listen to the entire Snuffleupagus. I mean, George Snuffleupagus. I can't even ever say his name right anymore because I've made fun of it for so long. Anyway, George on ABC, who decided to try to, do cleanup on aisle 11T for the Biden campaign. So we have the entire 22-minute interview. Yes, I said 22-minute. Now, according to him, it was not edited. I still don't completely believe that. Now, they did leave some rough spots in, but I still think they did a little bit of cleanup work behind the scenes. But after we finish the monologue here in a second, we're going to kind of get into that, and we're going to go through it. I'm going to pause it. We're going to make fun of it. We're going to laugh. We're going to point. It's what we do. But before we get into this, I have been, because new TV pretty much sucks. There's only a handful of new shows that I can stomach, and most of them are new shows based on older concepts. But I have been, as of today, rewatching Sliders, and something occurred to me. Like Sliders pre-Sci-Fi Channel, before they screwed it up, like when it was, when it started on Fox and it was actually decent. I think it was their second or third episode where they landed in the alternate universe where we lost and the Russians took over America. And something occurred to me because I see this happening all the time. Anybody that believed in America and freedom and was, trying to fight against them, yada, 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 blah, 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 they were fascists. Have you guys noticed how often those of us that still stand up for what America was founded on and, believe in freedom, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, we're fascists now. And it's funny because I'd planned on talking about this already. And then Al last hour is like, I think the communists are no longer quietly trying to take over the Democratic Party. I think they're actively trying to do it. And I have to agree with him because of things like that, just some of the language that they use. Because anyone who does not go along with the groupthink and the idea that the party matters most and all of the crap that goes along with communism, then they're fascists. And I think this is part of the reason why they're doing everything they can to push, pull, or drag this jalopy known as Biden across the finish line. Because if Trump gets back into office, it's going to mean for at least 4 years their plans are going to be put on hold. Now, I hate to tell you guys this, and this is why I keep saying, even if Trump wins, we cannot let off the gas because we're talking about slowly and methodically having to do undo over 100 years worth of changes that they've made to how this country operates, starting with the progressive tax system first and foremost, because they've used that as a tool to get everything that they want done without having to come to you and say, please, sir, may I have some more? Because they used to have to do that. And I've talked about that over and over again. So we're not going to talk about that again tonight. But we are going to start the process of taking this little video apart. And like I said, it is the full interview. So we are going to kind of go along with it and then pause it as needed to give appropriate comments. But here you go. Here is George Snuffleupagus, otherwise Stephanopoulos. I knew I could say it right eventually. Otherwise known around these parts as Snuffleupagus because he annoys me. Yeah, here he is sitting down with the president for approximately 22 minutes.
Mr. President, thank you for doing this. Let's start with the debate. You and your team have said you had a bad night. But your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or this sign of a more serious condition?
It's a bad episode. No indicating any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and a bad night.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you said that before as well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days
The only way
in
I know to
Camp
fix
David.
this
Why wasn't that
try to
enough
do
rest
this,
time,
and
enough
if it kills the
recovery time?
feed,
Because I was
then
sick,
I
I was
will
feeling terrible. Matter
restart
of fact, the
signing
docs with me, I asked if they did a COVID test.
Let's see. Yeah, so it looks like because I forgot to refresh the feed, we're only gonna be able to do the audio again, guys. My bad. I got distracted watching somebody else with a technical issue. So not you. You. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. How exactly? Just curious. I hope you're not the one running the world, or we're in huge trouble. Oh, damn it. So, can you guys hear me talking or no? Because it's weird. Because it was showing up at my board, so I assumed you guys were still hearing it. I hate this. It wasn't Al's fault. Okay, hang on. You know what? Screw it. There's nothing behind me. I'm starting over. Okay, so give me just a second then. I'm going to restart this part of it because I can always fix it for the audio stuff later. This is annoying. I hate it when it does it. All right, so yeah, this was actually not Al's fault. Somebody else was on the phone with me trying to figure stuff out. So hang on. Let's make sure we can make this work this time and make sure there's no echo. And I'll just fix it in post because it's Sunday night anyway. What the hell? Learning all this new stuff, and you miss one step and everything just gets completely thrown off. All right, so now let's do an echo check. So I'm going to be waiting for the chat here.
At this pivotal moment in the presidential campaign, here it is. Mr. President, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the debate. You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It was a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You know, you said you were exhausted, and I know you've said that before
I know how to fix it on the fly if I need to.
And you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked if they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
And did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I want to get at is what were you experiencing as you were going through the debate? Did you know how badly it was going?
Yeah, look. The whole way I prepared, nobody's fault, mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down, as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council, for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that I get quoted, the New York Times had me down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now, or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. The way the debate ran, not my fault, no one else's fault. No one else's fault.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
Because he was.
Well, I just had a bad night. You've had some bad interviews once in a while. I can't remember any, but I'm sure you did.
I've had plenty.
When did
I guess the
Snuffy
question,
get
the problem is here for a lot of Americans watching is you've said, going back to 2020, watch me, to people who are concerned about your age. And, 50 million Americans watched that debate. It seemed to confirm fears they already had.
Well, look, after that debate, I did 10 major events in a row, including till 2 o'clock in the morning after that debate. I did events in North Carolina. I did events in Georgia. Did events like this today. Large crowds, overwhelming response, no slipping. And so I just had a bad night. I don't know why.
And how quickly did it come to you that you were having that bad night?
Well, it came to me, I was having a bad night when I realized that even when I was answering a question, even though they turned his mic off, he was still shouting. And I let it distract me. I'm not blaming it on that. But I realized that I just wasn't in control.
But part of the other concern is that this seems to fit into a pattern of decline that has been reported on recently. New York Times had a headline on July 2nd, Biden's lapses are said to be increasingly common and worrisome. Here's what they wrote. People who have spent time with President Biden over the last few months or so said the lapses appear to have grown more frequent, more pronounced, and after Thursday's debate, more worrisome. By many accounts, as evidenced by video footage, observation, and interviews, Mr. Biden is not the same today as he was even when he took office 3.5 years ago. Similar reporting in the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. Are you the same man today that you were when you took office 3.5 years ago?
In terms of successes, yes. I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy. All the individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled. I moved on. And so, for example, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Today, just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on. I know you know this from the days in the
downwardly adjust those later, like they do with every job report that's been put out since you came into office. Beat them.
I took on all the things we said we got done.
Until COVID, the job
we couldn't get done.
Being revised upward.
Part of it is what I said when I ran was I wanted to do 3 things: restore some decency to the office, restore some support for the middle class instead of trickle-down economics built from the middle out and the bottom up. The way the wealthy still do fine, everyone does better, and unite the country.
And it didn't
work.
What
has all that work over the last 3.5 years cost you physically?
Despite what the Democrats try to tell you, some of our best economic years were under Reagan.
I just think it cost me a really bad night, bad run. But,
I'm pretty sure it cost me my career, George, but
I'm optimistic about this country. I don't think we're a country of losers that he points out. I don't think America's in tough shape. I think America's on the cusp of breaking through in so many incredible opportunities. This next term, I'm going to make sure we have straighten out the tax system. I'm going to make sure we're in a situation where we have health care for all people, where we're in a position where we have child care and elder care, free up, and all these things. The one thing I'm proudest of,
of course, the elder care.
You remember when my economic plan was put forward, a lot of the mainstream economists said it's not going to work. Well, guess what? You now have 16 Nobel laureates, 16 of them in economics, saying that Biden's next term would be, based on what he wants to do, enormous success. Trump's plan would cause a recession, would significantly increase inflation. I've made great progress, and that's what I plan on doing, and we can do this.
I understand that, and I'm not disputing that. What I'm asking you is about your personal situation. Do you dispute that there have been more lapses, especially in the last several months?
Can I run the 110 flat? No. But I'm still in good shape.
Are you more frail?
No.
I know you spoke
my schedule.
Perfectly acceptable shape.
I know you
It
spoke
doesn't
to your
mean I'm
doctor
in good
after
shape.
the debate. What did he say?
He said, he just looked at me and said, "You're exhausted." I said, "Look, I have medical doctors travel me everywhere, every president does, as you know. Medical doctors, some of the best in the world, travel me everywhere I go. I have an ongoing assessment of what I'm doing. They don't hesitate to tell me if they think there's something wrong."
I know you said you have an ongoing assessment. Have you had a full neurological and cognitive evaluation?
I get a full neurological test every day with me. And I've had a full physical. I had, I've been at Walter Reed for my physicals. Yes. The answer is
I know your doctor said he consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question. Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
No one said I had to. No one said, they said I'm good.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. Not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right. And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but with Netanyahu.
Oops, I just about
I'm on
said
the
more
phone
than
with
I
the
was
new Prime
supposed
Minister
to.
of England. I'm working on what we're doing with regard to, in Europe, with regard to expansion of NATO and whether it's going to stick. I'm taking on Putin. Every day, there's no day I go through, there are not those decisions I have to make every single day.
And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation?
He can't.
Watch me there's a lot of time left in this campaign. It's
Watch
over
me, but only
125
between the
days.
hours of 10 and 4 p.m.
So the
I'll
answer,
make a decision.
the right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right
No,
now.
I've already done it.
You talked a lot about your successes at the beginning of this interview, and I don't want to dispute that. I don't want to debate that. But as you know, elections are about the future, not the past. They're about tomorrow, not yesterday. And the question on so many people's minds right now is, can you serve effectively for the next 4 years?
George, I'm the guy that put NATO together, the future. No one thought I could expand it. I'm the guy that shut
put
Putin
NATO
down.
together?
No one thought it could happen. I'm the guy that put
And he
together
shut Putin
the
down.
South Pacific.
If he's shutting Putin
initiative
down, why are we still having?
with
If he's
AUKUS.
already shut Putin
I'm the
down,
guy
why are
that
we
got
having to give all this
50
money to
nations
Ukraine?
Not only in Europe, outside
how
of Europe
old was
as well.
Joe when NATO
to
was
help
kind of when he like
Ukraine. I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget.
You've done all these
for
things that are
example,
great for
when I
everywhere else.
decided
But
we used to have 40% of the computer
we
chip.
didn't
We
elect
invented
you
the chip.
Emperor
That little
of
chip,
China.
the computer chip.
Sure.
It's in everything from cell phone to weapons. And so we used to have 40%. We're down to virtually nothing. So I get in the plane against the advice of everybody, and I fly to South Korea. I convinced them to invest in the United States, billions of dollars. Now we have tens of billions of dollars being invested in the United States, making us back in a position where we're going to own that industry again. We have, anyway, I don't want to take too much credit. I have a great staff.
But I guess my point is, all that takes a toll. Do you have the mental and physical capacity to do it for another 4 years?
I believe so. I wouldn't be running if I didn't think I did. Look, I'm running again because I think I understand best what has to be done to take this nation to a completely new level. We're on our way. We're on our way. And look, the decision recently made by the Supreme Court on immunity, the next president of the United States, it's not just about whether he or she knows what they're doing. It's not about a conglomerate of people making decisions. It's about the character of the president. The character of the president is going to determine whether or not this Constitution is employed the right way.
Let me ask you a tougher, more personal question. Are you sure you're being honest with yourself when you say you have the mental and physical capacity to to serve another 4 years?
Yes, I am, because, George, the last thing I want to do is not be able to meet that. I think as some of the senior economists and senior foreign policy
Well, whatever
specialists say,
Kim boost they gave him
if I
is
stop
wearing
now,
off.
I go down in history as a pretty successful
Pretty
president.
close to the 20-minute mark.
No one thought I could get done what we got done.
But are you being honest with yourself as well about your ability to defeat Donald Trump right now?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
You say that, and let me challenge you.
Sure.
Because you were close, but behind going into the debate.
Oh, he looks like
you're further behind now, by any measure.
Right now.
It's been a two-man race for several months. Inflation has come down. In those last few months, he's become a convicted felon, yet you're still falling further behind.
You guys keep saying that. George, you know polling better than anybody. Do you think polling data is accurate as it used to be?
I don't think so, but I think when you look at all of the polling data right now, it shows that he's certainly ahead in the popular vote, probably even more ahead in the battleground states. And one of the other key factors there is it shows that in many of the battleground states, the Democrats who are running for Senate and the House are doing better than you are.
Well, that's not unusual in some states. I carried an awful lot of Democrats last time I ran in 2020. Look, I remember them telling me the same thing in 2020. I can't win. The polls show I can't win. Remember 2020, the red wave was coming. Before the vote, I said, that's not going to happen. We're going to win. We did better in an off year than almost any incumbent president ever has done. They said in 2023, all the tough races, we're not going to win. I went into all those areas, all those districts, and we won.
All that is true, but 2020 was a close race. And your approval rating has dropped significantly since then. I think the last poll I saw was about 36%. The number of Americans who think you're too old to serve has doubled since 2020. Wouldn't a clear-eyed political calculus tell you that it's going to be much tougher to win in 2024?
Not when you're running against a pathological liar. Not when he hadn't been challenged in a way that he's about to be challenged. Not when people...
You've had months to challenge him.
No.
Oh, I sure had months, but I was also doing a hell of a lot of other things, like wars around the world, like keeping NATO together, like working... Anyway. But look...
Do you really believe you're not behind right now?
I think it's all the pollsters I talk to tell me it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. And when I'm behind, there's only one poll I'm really far behind, CBS poll and NBC, and...
New York Times and NBC both have you about 6 points behind in the popular vote.
That's exactly right. New York Times had me behind before anything happened to do with this race. Had me behind 10 points. 10 points had me behind. Nothing's changed substantially in the debate, the New York Times poll.
Just when you look at the reality, though, Mr. President, I mean, you won the popular vote in 2020, but it was still deadly close in the Electoral
By
College.
7 million votes.
Yes, but you're behind now in the popular vote.
I don't buy that.
Is it worth the risk?
I don't think anybody's more qualified to be president or win this race than me.
You know, the heart of your case against Donald Trump is that he's only out for himself, putting his personal interest ahead of the national interest. How do you respond to critics who say that by staying in the race, you're doing the same thing?
Oh, come on. Well, I don't think those critics know what they're talking about.
They're just wrong?
No, that you
It's
can
wrong.
answer the question, though.
Look, Trump is a pathological liar. Trump is, he is... Have you ever seen anything Trump did that benefited somebody else, not him? You can't answer, I know.
I've questioned him and his allies as persistently as any journalist has.
No, I know you have. I'm not being critical.
Yeah.
I'm not being critical. But look, I mean, the man is a congenital liar. As I said, they pointed out in that debate he lied 28 times the Times, or whatever number, over 20 times. Talk about how good his economy was, how he brought down inflation, how this is a guy who, unlike only other president other than him, is Hoover, who lost more jobs than he created. This is a guy who told us to put bleach in our arms to deal with COVID, with over a million people died. This is a guy who talks about wanting to get rid of the health care provision we put in place. This is a guy who wants to give the power back to big pharma to be able to charge exorbitant prices for drugs. This is a guy who wants to undo every single thing I've done. Every single thing.
I understand that. I understand that's why you want to stay in the race. But if you convince yourself that only you can defeat him?
I convinced myself of two things. I'm the most qualified person to beat him, and I know how to get things done.
If you can be convinced that you cannot defeat Donald Trump, will you stand down?
Well, it depends if the Lord Almighty comes down and tells me that, I might do that.
Well, I mean, on a more practical level, Washington Post just reported in the last hour that Senator Mark Warner is assembling a group of senators together to try and convince you to stand down because they don't think you can win.
Well, Mark is a good man. We've never had that. He also tried to get the nomination too. Mark and I have a different perspective. I respect him.
And if Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi come down and say, we're worried that if you stay in the race, we're going to lose the House and the Senate, how will you respond?
I go into detail with them. I've spoken to all of them in detail, including Jim Clyburn. Every one of them. They all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. None of the people said I should leave.
But if they do?
Well, it's like, they're not going to do that.
You sure?
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came down and said, Joe, get out of the race, I get out of the race, the Lord Almighty's not coming down. I mean, these hypotheticals, George,
But it's not that hypothetical anymore. I grant that they have not requested the meeting, but it's been reported.
I've met with them. I've met with a lot of these people. I've talked with them regularly. I had an hour conversation with Hakeem. I had more time than that with Jim Clyburn. I spent time with many hours off and on the last little bit with Chuck Schumer. It's not like I had all the governors. I
agree that the Lord Almighty is not going to come down, but if you are told reliably from your allies, from your friends and supporters in the Democratic Party, in the House and the Senate, that...
All right, so I've been doing some talking over him, but I got to stop right there because this was kind of a rehash for me, so you guys could have the video. So I don't believe the Lord Almighty's going to come down. Here's the thing, and sorry, I'm going to dust off my theology degree for a second. You don't know how the Lord presents himself to you over and over and over again. All of these people that are trying to tell Joe Biden, hey, your time is done, you should retire, you should do this, you should do that. Those are likely people that are hearing the voice of the Lord saying, this is going to go badly for you. Or it could be that they're not, because it could be that, that maybe for the last 4 years, it hasn't really been God's will that we head in the direction that we are. But for the hubris of either of these men to say, for Joe to say, well, I'll only get out of the race if God Almighty tells him to. And then for Snuffleupagus to go, well, I don't think he's going to do that. The hubris that is everywhere in this country now is astounding to me. I mean, we just came out of a month where we have been being prideful about debauchery. Granted, it was one of the least flamboyant Pride months I think I've seen since they started doing Pride months, but it was still a thing. I mean, there wasn't. I mean, I saw more on social media about it than on TV ads, etc. Now, granted, I try to avoid TV ads as much as possible. So most of the services that I have, I either have the low ad option or the no ad option for when I watch TV. So maybe that's part of the reason why I didn't see it. But I wasn't the only one who kept seeing or saying that, this seemed like a weird Pride month, because normally they're just everywhere and you can't get away from them. And it's like even the Israeli stuff, the Israeli Hamas stuff kind of sucked all the oxygen away from that too. But going back to what these two men are just happily bantering about, you don't know how God presents himself to you. So for either of them to say this in the way that they're saying it just went all through me. Anyway, back to the interview.
They're concerned you're going to lose the House and the Senate if you stay in. What will you do?
I'm not going to answer that question. It's not going to happen.
What's your plan to turn the campaign around?
You saw it today. How many people do you draw crowds like I drew today? You find many more enthusiastic than today? Huh?
I mean, I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no question about that.
He can draw a big crowd, but what does he say? Who does he have? I'm the guy supposedly in trouble. We raised $38 million within 4 days after this. We have over 1 million individual contributors. Individual contributors. Less than $200. I've not seen what you're proposing.
You haven't seen the fall off in the polls. You haven't seen the reports of discontent in the Democratic Party, House Democrats, Senate Democrats.
I've seen it from the press.
You know, I've heard from dozens of your supporters over the last few days, and a variety of views, I grant you that. But the prevailing sentiment is this. They love you. And they will be forever grateful to you for defeating Donald Trump in 2020. They think you've done a great job as president, a lot of the successes you outlined. But they are worried about you and the country, and they don't think you can win. They want you to go with grace, and they will cheer you if you do. What do you say to them?
I say the vast majority are not where those folks are. I don't doubt there's some folks there. Have you ever seen a group at time when elected officials running for office aren't a little worried? Have you ever seen that? I've not. Same thing happened in 2020. Oh, Biden, I don't know, man. What's he going to do? He may bring me down. He may.
Mr. President, I've never seen a president at 36% approval get reelected.
Well, I don't believe that's my approval rate. That's not what our polls show.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about. Look, George, think of it this way. You've heard me say this before. I think the United States and the world is at an inflection point where the things that happen in the next several years are going to determine what the next 6, 7 decades look like. And who's going to be able to hold NATO together like me? Who's going to be able to be in a position where I'm able to keep the Pacific Basin in a position where we're at least checkmating China now? Who's going to do that? Who has that reach? Who knows all these? We're going to have, I guess, a good way to judge me is you're going to have now the NATO conference here in the United States next week. Come listen. See what they say.
Mr. President, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
ABC News also offered a
Nobody cares, Snuffleupagus. Nobody cares. Because, yes, I know you guys extended an interview to Trump. He said no. I don't blame him because you guys are a bunch of hacks. However, Mr. Trump, if you hear this, you're welcome to come on here anytime. Just saying. All right. Not that he will. I have no illusions that he will. But it would be awfully awesome if I got to interview him at least once. Because everybody that has actually gotten a chance to speak to him, and I know a few people, tell me that he's completely different off camera than he is on. And I just want to be able to experience that just once. But anyway, so back to this whole thing with Biden. Again, I would like to point out that even counting the event that he did before this interview, that he has done, as far as I know, about 93 minutes of rally work and interview work. Donald Trump did that the day after. We actually carried as much of his rally as we could find on the day after, and Fox pulled away from it after an hour and 10 minutes. He went on for an hour and 37 minutes total. So Donald Trump in one day had already put in as much groundwork as Joe Biden has done, as far as I can find in the last week. And this is the point that I keep trying to get across to everybody, because the left keeps telling you Donald Trump's not that much younger. Age isn't the issue. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to explain what the actual issue is. But we are going to have to take a quick break. We're going to probably go a little bit long because I'm going to have to do some editing on the fly, and I don't want to leave them with less than pretty close to an hour because I have to do some audio trimming and stuff for later. I also need to get some video editing equipment because this means I pretty much have to anyway. All right. Sorry, I'm grumbling to myself right now because I'm kicking myself for not hitting the refresh button before I went live, but I was in a hurry to get things started, so there wasn't a delay. Anyway, so we are going to get out of here and take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. We're going to get a couple things queued up first. So let me do that first. All right. So you're listening to America Off the Rails, and while I'm queuing up the break, don't forget I'll be back tomorrow afternoon doing the Rick Robinson Show, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Also, tomorrow night we do have Spirited Books with Aggie and Jeff. So make sure you guys are tuning in for that as well. That'll be Aggie time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday, I'll be back again doing the Rick Robinson Show again, 3 to 5. Tuesday night, producing for the Cocktail Lounge. That is also, again, Aggie time at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And that is probably going to be about the extent of what I tell you right now, because I'm just killing time while I wait for stuff to spin up around these parts, because everything's running a little weird tonight. I'm just saying. All right. So I know it's Sunday night, and I usually try to be a little more mellows on Sunday night. I need some metal in my life right now. So this is what we're going to break with. Don't hate me, and I don't really care if you do anyway. You're listening to America Off the Rails. I'm Rick Robinson. We are live on KLRN Radio. We do this thing every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm back after these commercial messages.
Wasn't faded, not jaded, just a kid with a pad and a beard and a big imagination. All this I see, I find, push the envelope to the line. Make it, break it, take it, until I'm overrated. Click, click, boom, I'm coming down on the stereo, hit me on the radio. Click, click, boom, I'm coming down with a new style, and you know it's both wild. Click, click, boom, I'm on the radio station, touring around the nation, leaving the scene of devastation. I can see it in my mind.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq, Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, $1,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
I'm Jordan Klinger, an attorney at McIntyre Law. The decision to hire an attorney after you've been injured is important. The decision on who to hire is even more important. At McIntyre Law, we will settle a case if the offer to our client is fair. Partial justice is no justice at all. At McIntyre Law, we are committed to obtaining full justice for our clients. Contact McIntyre Law at 405-917-5200 or visit us at mcintyrelaw.com.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Celebrity designer Jeff Lewis is back with Hollywood House Lift.
I'm excited to be working with new clients.
I'm not getting rid of that.
I hope I never see you both again.
Yeah. An all-new season.
Those have to go. That has to go.
From oh, wow,
It's been an actual nightmare.
to oh, wow.
This is such an upgrade.
With celebrities like Josh Duhamel, Christina Ricci, and Gina Rodriguez. Dazzle me, Jeff.
It looks like Chuck E. Cheese.
Stream an all-new season of Hollywood House Lift with Jeff Lewis, now streaming on Freevee.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Know if your soul will fade at all. The one you sold to fool the world. You lost your self-esteem along the way. Yeah! Good God, you're coming up with reasons. Good God, you're dragging it out. Good God, it's the changing of the season. I feel so right, man. Follow me down. Just fake it. If you're out of direction, fake it. If you don't belong here, fake it. If you feel like affection, whoa, you're such a fucking hypocrite.
That was dedicated to the Biden campaign, who has been doing a lot of complaining about people faking it and them faking it and then faking it until they make it, or at least they hope so. Anyway, welcome back into the America Off the Rails show, live right here on KLRN Radio. We do this thing every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I am the closing actor on here, so hopefully you guys have been with us for a while. If you weren't, you should go back and check out the replays later. We had The Lost Wanderer with our very own resident alien, Jeff, and then we had Sunday Nights with Al and Ray. Those guys are way better at this than me, so you should definitely be listening to them. Anyway, we are back. We are live, and we still have a little bit of material to cover. So, anyway, actually, before we get too far, I was going to try to see if I could work this into the ad rotation, but I am still trying to find a suitable download point for it. I do want to pimp something, though, so we're going to do something here real quick. So hang on. When everything wasn't working right earlier, I decided I wasn't going to do it, but now that I know that it is, we can do it anyway. And so...
In the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Huge woke front coming.
Politicians got a license to steal.
I'm pretty sure I'm a woman.
No, you're not, Steve. What have I done?
There's a killer example of a good old-fashioned public school education.
In the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Huge woke front coming.
Politicians got a license to steal.
I'm pretty sure I'm a woman.
No, you're not, Steve. What have I done?
There's a killer example of a good old-fashioned public school education.
All right, so that was that show tonight, put together by one of my clients and good friend, Michael Loftus, who does the Loftus Party podcast. Also, occasionally appears on Fox News and Fox Business News. So, yeah, he's putting together the, I guess, conservative version to Saturday Night Live sucking now, and that has become That Studio Tonight. So, feel free to go check that out if you are so inclined. And while we are on the subject of pimping things, because we are actually getting pretty close to the end of the program, one way or the other. Also want to talk to you about my friends at Testudo Pest Control. If you are anywhere in the Oklahoma City metro area and you are having any kind of issue with crawling critters, flying critters, actual critters, or just want to find a company to come out and spray your property as needed for special events, give them a look up at testudopest.com. Trust me, I didn't want to have to deal with the messes that I've been having to deal with for about the last 6 months, and they have made everything so much easier. So tell them Rick sent you. If you do sign up for their property treatment program they have for you, you're going to get a discount. So and you may be able to work another deal with them too. Just go check them out. Like I said, it's that time of year. Creepy crawlies are everywhere. Nobody likes them. Everybody wants to get rid of them. So give them a try. Anyway, all right. So yeah, I think I am just about out of steam. I think I'm going to save the rest of the notes for tomorrow. If I'd have realized how much worse I was going to feel when I came back from the break, I may not have taken it because I'm just like, but there is one more thing I definitely want to talk about. If I can find it again, because the other thing is my computer decided to do something a little crazy while I was on break too. So there's always that. So hang on. It's always something. Oh, this was it. So this is from Matt Vespa at Dateline Today from Town Hall. So apparently Axios did some digging and they found out how Biden staffers prepare Biden for public events. And apparently it's not good. So just so you guys know, I'm not making this up as we go along. We're going to do this. I've got the camera shut down, so I'm just going to show you guys full screen what I'm reading through. So hopefully you can at least see some of it. Give me just a second. Because, we like sourcing around here. All right. So the leaks coming from the Biden White House are damning and unrelenting. Joe Biden must be seething as more details emerge from a presidency besieged by its own party. Axios reported that staffers are miserable in this political rendition of Weekend at Bernie's. It's funny how everybody's starting to use that now. We started that a long-ass time ago. With one senior official saying Biden should withdraw from the race. Even more disconcerting is the window staffers say Biden is semi-cogent in, which is between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. The president is only semi-conscious for 6 hours before conking out, which was confirmed when Biden told 20 or so Democratic governors last Wednesday that he needs to work less, sleep more, and cut down on events after 8 p.m. Now the outlet has obtained information about how staffers handle the president's every move at public events where rudimentary fundraisers are treated like NATO summits. And this is, again, via Axios. Scoop A, look at the template that the White House sends to staffers organizing events for POTUS. I staffed a simple fundraiser with a private residence, but they treated it like it was a NATO summit with his movements. A person who staffed a Biden event said, walk to podium. Oh my God, are you kidding me right now? Wow. So for his events, President Biden's staffers prepare a short document with large print and photos that include his precise path to a podium, according to an event template the White House sends to staffers. Are you kidding me right now? So we're going to keep reading here. For his events, President Biden's staffers prepare a short document with large print and photos that include his precise path to a podium, according to an event template sent out to the White House staffers. Why it matters. Since June 27 debate, some Democrats who've attended and helped said Biden events have wondered whether his team's focus on minute details were to obscure the 81-year-old president's limitations rather than just a reflection of a meticulous staff. I staffed a simple fundraiser at a private residence, but they treated it like it was a NATO summit with his movements, according to a person who staffed a Biden event in the past 18 months. The staffer who helped with this fundraiser told Axios, "It surprised me that a seasoned political pro like the president would need detailed verbal and visual instructions on how to enter and exit a room. Zoom out. Many of Biden's seemingly ordinary practices are receiving fresh scrutiny after his debate performance when he at times couldn't string together sentences that often had his mouth agape. Presidents frequently use teleprompters, but Biden's use of them for even small events such as fundraisers has sparked worries among Democrats that his debate performance was not a one-off." Oh, it's cute that they still are trying to pretend they didn't see what they saw. In this run-of-the-mill advance, is this run-of-the-mill advance work? Maybe, but the president's mental decline goes beyond these documents. We saw how Biden was on June 27. His interview with ABC News was also lacking in the department where he could reverse some course on his mental health issues. Even when I was, and hang on, since I'm sharing the screen, this should work, hopefully. Oh, of course it's gonna do that, so hang on. And now it's not gonna want to load on me. I'll try one more time.
God. Even when I was running for Senate, and each time I ran, quite frankly, not a joke, Philadelphia in particular got me across the line. No, I'm not joking. No, I mean it seriously. Organizationally and in terms of fundraising, the whole deal. But look, here's the deal. This election is going to be about block and tackling, simple, basic politics. Simple. It's going to be a matter of how many signs we get out, how many doors we knock on, how many calls we make, and how many requests we answer. But look.
Last I checked, I mean, Philadelphia is not that far away from Delaware. Trust me, I know. I lived in Delaware. But yeah, that's not how any of that works. All right, so let's go back to the article here. And I think that's actually the end of it anyway. But yeah, so there you have yet again. So you guys got to, even though it took us a minute because we had a technical issue, you guys pretty much got to hear and see the whole interview if you hadn't seen it yet. Again, just to recap, counting the 3 events that I've been able to find, which was this interview, the one that he did on Friday, that he did at a live rally event, and then the rally after the debate. That is approximately 66 minutes of talk time. Donald Trump did more than that on the day after and has done more since. And then why do I keep bringing this up? Because they aren't that far apart in age. Everyone on the left keeps trying to make this an age issue. It's not an age issue. It's not the fact that Joe Biden is old. It's the fact that his brain doesn't work right anymore. And that needs to be the focus for everyone. It's not, look, you can like Joe Biden, you can hate Joe Biden. Personally, I think he's an asshole. I've said from day one that the man was a racist, misogynist asshole who never should have gotten the presidency, because that's what they did. If you think they believe everything they believe about Trump, that's what they did. They traded one racist, misogynist asshole for another. The only difference is this one believes what they believe, so that's why it's okay. This is why I keep trying to tell you guys that either they don't believe what they are saying they do about Donald Trump and they're just using it as an excuse, or they have zero moral ground to stand on because they traded one for the other. And the inside joke, and I think somebody may have done this on purpose, don't hold me to this, but I think somebody did it on purpose just to try to illustrate the point that there was really no difference between the two, because for the last 10 days, they've both been orange. I don't think that happened by accident. Because I was laughing my ass off because the other day I posted something because, Joe Walsh is, Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that, and he's unfit for office. So I quote tweeted it, gave a point for point rebuttal for everything that Biden's done that's worse than anything he's talking about. So somebody posted the whole, the vote blue shirt that looks like a Tide logo and it says gets out really bad orange stains. Of course, they blocked me because I was going to reply, which orange stain are you trying to get rid of at this point? Because they're both orange. But they dropped that and then blocked me. That's the other thing I don't get. Why come onto somebody's feed just to block? I mean, if you're going to try to pick a fight, at least let's have a fight first. Don't just do your little stealth drop and then run like a little bitch. Anyway, all right. We are a little bit long, and I do have to do this again tomorrow, so I'm going to save the rest of the notes for in the morning, but we have reached the point where I do have to tell you this particular show is over. But before we get to that, again, don't forget I'll be back this week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern, doing the Rick Robinson Show, pushing various buttons. I would normally say go to our schedule and check it out, but we're having website issues that I am still trying to get taken care of due to circumstances beyond my control. So I'm going to run down the list real quick. So tomorrow night is Spirited Books, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Aggie and Jeff. You can find them on X. And also, I believe he's using his streaming account to stream to YouTube as well. Tuesday night, I will be doing the button pushing for the Cocktail Lounge with Brad and Aggie. That's also 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That one will be pretty much everywhere known to man. Also, you can find our podcast audio versions on pretty much every podcatcher you can possibly think of. If you find one we're not on, just let me know by email at radiofreerick@gmail.com and I'll fix it. Because at this point, I think I have them listed pretty much everywhere, but they add new ones all the time, and I can't keep up anymore. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, whatever show, myself and Stacy. 8 p.m. Eastern, I do believe our good friend, the Conservative Curmudgeon, is supposed to be back. If not, maybe Andrew and I will get together again and break into his studio to give you guys an hour's worth of content. 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm not sure yet, because I don't remember when Sam comes back from vacation, and I know this is supposed to be their off week, and we don't have anything in their off week anymore, so it may just be me. 9 p.m. Eastern, Rick and Orty will finish off your night, or 10 p.m. Eastern. I don't remember if I said that right, but yeah, 10 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday will be this week, I believe it is the Culture Shift with Brad and Amish, and otherwise known as Ordnance Packard. And then myself and Jen Homestead will finish off the night with the Jen and Rick Show. Friday night, I'll be back doing He Said, She Said with Aggie Rican right here live, and that'll again be Aggie time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now, Going Mental, which was every other Thursday, has now moved to every other Friday because John and I realized we don't have a filter. And we just kind of, we did almost 3 hours the other night without even meaning to. So we've decided we're going to move it to a night where there's nothing on behind us. That way, if we want to run long, we can. If we wanted to do an hour, we can. And it doesn't really matter one way or the other. So that'll now be every other Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern as soon as Aggie and I are at. So that'll be our off week for that one. And then also don't forget, Talk Murder to Me will be live on Saturday night at, I believe they start at 9 Eastern. So that'll be 9 to 11. Also, it's Laura's birthday this week, so go find her and say happy birthday. Anyway, on that note, folks, we really have hit the point where I do have to say goodnight. Want to thank everybody for taking the time to tune in. And thank you for making KLR Radio one of the funnest places to be pretty much any night of the week. But again, this one is officially over.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
Closing time. Open all the doors and let you out into the world.
This isn't over until I say it's over!
Closing time.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? Game over, man. Game over.
Closing time. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. Closing time. This room won't be open till your brothers or your sisters come.
I love you, Oklahoma. What a great crowd. I love you.
Say goodnight, Gracie.